All right. Welcome back to another Wisdom Wednesday discussion live on the Noom Vibe app, or if you're watching this on YouTube as a replay. Today, we're talking preparing for growth and expansion by aligning opportunity through intentional action. As always, I am your guide, generating, uplifting, inspiring, developing, and empowering you to live inspired every day forever, because that's life. I go by Sant Inspire, and we're here to inspire, uplift, and empower. Growth. It's not always easy. And then a lot of times it's not always evident. You don't see that growth. You notice it, but you don't see yourself growing. This is why normally we take a measurement of our growth. When it comes to our height, we measure that. And this is how we can see that we grew up. If we come to our weight, we weigh ourselves, and then we see that we grew out. Yet growth is not an accident, right? So when we're talking about growing and expanding spiritually, mentally, we have to understand that it's not done by accident. And the way that we are able to see that is through the fruits, as they say, of our labor or of our preparation. Because the end result, a lot of times, is what I guess you could say we wait for. We acknowledge that, like the end result. Okay, so I did this, so at the end, I can get this. And then this is how I am able to define whether or not I grew, whether there was value there, so on and so forth. Yet a part that we may not be recognizing is the preparation. Our growth and our expansion is the result of that preparation. So it's not that you don't grow or expand. To the level that we grow and expand is going to be attributed to how we prepared or did not prepare. So by aligning our thoughts, our energy, and our actions, we can begin to align ourselves with those future opportunities. So if there's something that I want to see later on, there's something that I need to begin to do now. So we're going to create space and clarify what's needed so that in this discussion and outside, we can expand beyond our current state. And as always, I got to ask you a question. Are you truly prepared for what you're asking for? Are you truly prepared for what you say you want? Or are you just hoping something will happen, wishing upon a star? Because a lot of times we may ask for something, yet we don't define if we're prepared for that thing when it is delivered. And so let's affirm, I am prepared for the opportunities that lie ahead. And I welcome with open arms. I'm prepared for the opportunities that lie ahead, and I welcome them with open arms. I know that can sound, at least in the beginning for me, that kind of sounded weird. Like, am I prepared for what I want? I wouldn't be asking for it. And then you get it and it falls through your hands. And you're like, well, how did that happen? And you realize that it's two parts to that. You ask and you shall receive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Ask and you shall receive. So the question is not, I didn't get what I asked for. The realization is, I wasn't prepared for it when it arrived. I wasn't ready to keep it, to hold on to it. But I got it. So you're like, I wish I had $1 million. And then you get, boom, you don't get $1 million right away, but you get more than you had at that moment. And you're going to throw it away. And you say, but I asked for $1 million. You did. Yet you couldn't handle 1,000. You don't get to the $1 million until you're able to handle 1,000. You don't get to 100 until you can handle 1. So a lot of times we don't see that. We think that, no, ask and I shall receive everything that I'm asked for right now. No. Because there's also the saying where we say, God is not going to put anything on me that I cannot handle. So why would you get $1 million when you couldn't handle 1,000? Why would you get that opportunity when you didn't recognize the one that you had in your hand? So you threw that one away because you thought that the grass was greener on the other side. You ran over there and recognized it wasn't even grass. That was artificial turf. But now this opportunity is gone. Can't come back. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field. And afterwards, build thine house. Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field. And afterwards, build thine house. Proverbs 24:27. The foundation for us to sustain is built off the preparation. If you've never heard this, the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if I'm properly prepared, I'm going to prevent poorly performing when it's time. So if I poorly performed when it was time, then I wasn't properly prepared. A farmer who plants a seed in unplowed soil is only feeding the birds. A farmer who plants a seed in unplowed soil is only feeding the birds. You got to plow the land, meaning there's groundwork that needs to be done. There's preparation if we are expecting growth. You want us to just pile it on top of what's already there? No, that's clutter. That's confusion. This is hoarding. Nothing comes to a hoarder. You move all that stuff out of the way, you start creating space, then more is able to come in. Are you preparing? Are you waiting for the right moment? No, it's got to be right. It's got to be right. Then I'll prepare. When I get the right sign, when I see the right thing, then I'll prepare. It says prepare thy work without. You ain't got it. You're still preparing that work. You ain't got it. You're still preparing. Then you make it fit for thyself in the field. You prepare, you make it fit for you. And then afterwards, build thine house. So for me, that's saying, if you prepare, this talks about what we've been talking about this whole month. That belief. You got to have that first. You got to prepare without anything that you're going to receive something. You don't have it now, but you're preparing for it. To make it fit for thyself in the field, customize it for you. What is it that you want? Have you projected that out there? Have you put that out there? Have you affirmed that? Have you created the plan for what you want? Not what they got and you want a new car because your neighbor got one. No, that's not for you. Make it fit for you. And once you are able to have that vision, then start the work, you can build the house after that. See, what we want to do is to say, no. I want to have a vision and then I want it to happen. No, doesn't. We have seen too many fantasy movies where you can wish upon a star, rub a genie lamp, and then grant 3 wishes, and you're actually not recognizing that you actually got a genie already. You have unlimited wishes, but you don't know what goes into that. You wish, then you work. Have the vision, then perform. Native American saying, before you can light the way for others, you must gather your own torch. How can you light the way for somebody else, lead somebody else when you have not rescued yourself? You have not led yourself. You haven't disciplined yourself. You haven't taught yourself. How are we going to teach somebody else? You can't love yourself and you wonder why you struggle to receive love from everybody else or to see it. It all begins within ourselves. The future depends on what you do today. Mahatma Gandhi. We have to align our present actions with our future aspirations. If I want something tomorrow, what am I doing today to ensure that I'm getting closer to that thing? I personally wanted more opportunities for myself to speak, to guide, to coach, to consult. Yet unless I'm going to put myself out there like this, unless I'm going to talk and create space and prepare, how am I ever going to get to that point? You know how I thought I was going to get there? I thought I was going to sit around and somebody was going to see me and they're going to say, oh my God, you sitting here. You look like you talented. Oh, I love your voice. We want to put you on. Or thought I could pay my way in. So I was jumping on all these different groups and sign up for this and sign up for that and enter this contest. And if we pick you, and it's like, why am I doing all that? That's actually not the real work. But that's what we think. Because no matter where I went, this is what people was telling me. Oh man, you got to get in this group and you do this and then this will happen. And it's like, this is too much. Like, why am I doing all of this? Why am I putting myself in positions that make me feel inferior, that make me feel small because I have to be judged by somebody else whether or not I'm worthy of a position that they're going to give to me? Be in this world. That was me being of it because I forgot. I'm like, yeah, okay. another man is going to put me on. They're going to give me the opportunity. They're going to provide a way for me. So now I got to do this. I got to do the song and dance. And if they like me, they're going to pick me. And if not, then I'm going to question myself. See, the harder route is to prepare thy work without, to believe within that, no, I believe that I can do this for real. So if I believe that I can do it, then why don't I just start doing it? Why don't I just start doing it? Okay. Create a channel, get on YouTube, start vlogging, blogging, talking, whatever it is that you believe that you're good at. You start doing it without somebody's permission to do it. Then you start to, again, make it fit for thyself. Start to tailor it where it works for me. All right, what do I want to talk about? How long do I want to talk? What are the topics? Before I was chasing, I'm trying to Google what's trending right now and then form a conversation around that. And that was too much. But I believed that I was capable of doing this, and this is something that I want to do. So I had to understand the power in preparation. So if this is something that I want to do, that I see myself on stages and I see myself talking, crowds, TED Talk, whatever it is, I see myself doing that. Yet I had to prepare for that. I have to prepare for that. This is preparation for that. So I had to develop my own discussions. I have to sit down and learn and through experience and through understanding how to give a discussion, to talk for real. Because it's not just, I just want to sit down and talk and no. To have impact, to create emotion so that your words are felt, so that it causes someone to be inspired. And if you are inspired, that's different than motivated. So that's why I make the distinction here, like to live inspired. Because once that fire is lit, it's lit. Whereas motivation for me was like, you got to do that every day. And I got to come back and hear somebody motivate me today. And it's like, when you're inspired, you become that and you find that motivation. You generate that motivation. Yet I had to prepare for that. And through that preparation, it created for me clarity to see that I can go forward and do this because now I have a space to do it in. Trying to give a second. I don't know if y'all heard the sirens, but it created that clarity for me. It also gave me confidence because the more that I spoke, the less I thought about it, the less I worried about if I can do it because I was already doing it. And then you get these confirmations as you go. Somebody might give you a pat on the back or say, hey, I really liked what you said last time. And now people are tuning in. So now it's giving you more of that confidence to say, you know what? As I prepare for this, I can see myself doing this more. So now I'm more bold in doing it. I'm establishing myself, my voice, developing the talks that I want to talk about, creating that space for those people who want to hear what I have to say to come in, to share that capacity, to make room, to get ready for. It came from that preparation to where I had to start. No one could prepare me for this. So proper preparation. What does that mean? You're not looking for somebody to come do it for you. You're recognizing that this is something I want to do. The only way it's going to happen is if I do it. I got to do it. Nobody else is going to do it for me. So for it to be proper preparation, it must come through ourselves. We must be the one to go out and till the field if we want to be properly prepared to receive. Because if somebody else goes and does it for you, it's not proper preparation. It's still going to be prepared, but now it's not for you. Okay, and we're talking about preparing for growth and expansion within ourselves. So if I want them to grow and expand, I let them do it. Matter of fact, if this is a great example. If you are one of those quote unquote leaders, supervisors, bosses, whatever you want to call yourself, or if you had one where they just sit around and dictate to everybody else what to do, you notice it's not long after that they're not in charge anymore, that somebody else is now taking that position because you have prepared them for that. You sat around and you did nothing. They did everything, which means they gained the experience. And eventually that's how you get moved out of position. So we think it's like, oh, I want to be the person that tells everybody what to do and I do nothing. That person doesn't really exist. It's an illusion. They're only there for a short amount of time telling people what to do. You want to be the person who is properly prepared so that when that opportunity is given to you, you're ready for it. You welcome it. You can receive it. You can cultivate it. You can grow it. It's not just a flash in the pan where you're talking about what I used to have. The one experience that I had, I was so close. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. To prepare, it requires planning and clear intention. Yet also, when it says write the vision and make it plain so that he may run that readeth it. A lot of times we complicate things by trying to make the vision too gaudy. You're adding too much to it. It's not clear. It's not plain. And so it's confusing. And if you make it simple and plain, you're going to receive that. Yet more importantly, what it says to me is like, when I hear write the vision, make it plain so that he may run that readeth it. When you see that, to run, to get into action. If you make it plain, you write it out, you make it plain, you're going to be able to act on it. Soon as you see it, boom, I'm gone. I understand what I need to do. I give the order and it's clear and they right out the door to go perform. To go produce. Yet if it's not clear, you're sitting around, you don't have that vision, you didn't make it plain, nothing's really happening. What is supposed to happen in confusion? If you don't know what to do, and then you haven't given the direction of what needs to be done, we all just gonna stand around. And then here comes somebody else and they see your vision, they make it plain, and then all of a sudden, off to the races. Things are starting to happen. They're starting to receive these opportunities, and we're saying, how come that person did and I didn't? And we come straight back here. When I'm dealing with my clients, I come straight back to scriptures like this. And I say, all right, so did you have a vision? Well, yeah. Did you write it down? No. Well, that's the first step we got to go back to then. We got to write it down. All right. Now, when you wrote it down, did you make it plain? Is it clear, understandable what it is that you want? What it is, the outcome that you're expecting? Oh, well, I want this and this and this and this. Like, that's not clear. Sounds like a ransom note or something. Like, it's very clear. I want to speak on stages, right? Make it write the vision and make it plain. And there's other things that I added to that. Made it simple. And once I saw it, boom, I was able to run with that plan. Once God got it, he was able to run with that plan. Oh, make it simple. I know exactly what he wants and what he needs. Complicating it was, I want $1 million, and then I want a car, and then I want a house, and with this and this and this, and all the, what? Why, like, did you even sit down and ask why you wanted $1 million? Because personally, when we sit down and we make our inspired action plans and we get to the financial point, everybody's saying the same thing. They want to be a millionaire. And then we break that down. All right, so this is what it takes to be a millionaire. This is actually what's going to happen. Da, 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 da. They start to see like, well, I don't know. Because if I ask you on the route to $1 million, would you be satisfied with this? And you say yes, you don't want to be a millionaire then. Or even when somebody poses a question that you may have to think about, like, okay, so why do you want to be a millionaire? You get to a realization that, well, I really don't want to be a millionaire. What I want is to live a comfortable life where I'm debt free. I don't have any bills, and I can provide for my family and do the things that I want to do. And it's just that in your mind, you believe that that's what happens if you have $1 million. So you believe that if you are a millionaire, that's what's going to happen. And that's not necessarily true. So this is, again, going back to, are you prepared for what you asked for? There have been people that have gotten the millions. We have seen them. There have been people that have gotten the celebrity, the stardom, and then they fall all the way out the sky, hit the ground, boom. And we're like, oh my God, what happened to that person? And they're telling you the same thing, the same exact thing. They got the money, they got the stardom, and yet something was missing. They asked for that, they begged and pleaded, they wished, and they got it. And then they realized that's not really what they wanted. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Being faithful in the least. That's that mustard seed, the faith of a mustard seed, really small. You are faithful in the least amount. It don't take a lot for you. That also means your faith is huge and you shall receive in that. How you prepare now determines how much you can handle later. We don't have to see a lot. I don't have to know, be told a lot. That I have that belief in myself that, okay, cool, just give me a little space. That's all I need. Just give me a little opportunity. Just make a crack in the door. Not asking you to blow the whole thing wide open. And it's because we understand that preparation. Going back to, again, one of my favorite examples in human form, Mr. Kobe Bryant, his Mamba mentality. One thing he said is, well, he didn't really say it, but this was put in a song. It was, "You wasn't with me shooting in the gym." They don't see the work you put in. They see the results of that. If they saw the work you put in, they wouldn't want what you got out of it. Yet they want what you have or the results because they don't see the work and they think that it just happened overnight. Yet the sun works all year round. They can think it happened overnight. Yet the sun works all year round, whether you see it or not. How much faith do you have that the sun is going to rise? You count on that. You count on that. The day that you wake up and they say, breaking news, the sun did not rise today, I don't even think you'll be here to see it. So that thing which is on automatic, it happens regardless. When the clouds are out and we think, oh, the sun's not out. No, it's still out. You don't see it. Something is blocking, but it's there. How much faith do you have in that? Have you ever even thought about that? Like, nah, I never even thought. That's how small that faith is. You just know, so you don't worry about it. If we start from that to where you have that much faith in yourself, to where you just know, so you ain't thinking about it. I just know this. So I'm not thinking about it. I'm preparing myself. That is what we are in awe of when we see those individuals who reach the height in their lane that they're in, whatever profession that may be. It's all the same. They all tell us the same thing. I always believed that I would be this, that I could be the greatest. So all we saw was them preparing for that. So why are we surprised when it happens? It's because we have, now woe ye of little faith. We have no faith, no belief within ourselves. So when I hear somebody else say it, yeah, right, ain't no way. What? Impossible. No, it's not. If we take that word impossible and break it in half, split it into two words that create impossible, it says, I'm possible. So what is impossible? A compound of two words. I'm possible. You took that, you made one word impossible, can't do it. Break it a half again. Break it up and become possible. I'm possible. And whatever you want to add to that. There is no impossible. And when you are inspired by some great purpose, all your thoughts break their bonds. When you are inspired by some great purpose, all your thoughts break their bonds. Patanjali, it's a yoga sutra. So as our spirit is inspired, we shall prepare. Or your true preparation is fueled by your inspired vision. And here, what do we say? To be inspired is to never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. So if your vision is inspired, then you're not going to stop prospering because you're going to give that required effort daily, that preparation that's needed for life. So let's break it down. Live is to listen, invite, verify, and express. This is what we must do. So how do we live? You have to listen, invite, verify, and express in order to be inspired. To never stop prospering requires effort daily, the preparation that will lead you to living inspired every day forever, because that's life. And no one can do this for you but you, because no one is going to live that life but you. African proverb says, when the drum beat changes, the dance must adapt. See, they done changed the beat on you and you're still doing the same old dance. That's why you look silly. It's not that you can't dance. The beat changed. So your dance must adapt to the new beat. Flexibility. Just because you are saying, this is what I want and I'm preparing, don't mean you're not flexible. Well, no, this is how it's supposed to happen. No, no, no. Adapt. Yep, the rains came and washed it away. So now guess what you got to do? Dig again. Find a way. Oh, maybe we don't plant it here. We plant it over there because the water's going to flood it out. Whatever the situation is, you have to be flexible. Our rigidity is what makes us break. Because we don't want to change. We want to stay the same. And like I've said before, anytime you think something makes sense, just take it out of that position and put it in a different position and see if it still makes sense. So if it's like, oh no, I never want to change, I want to stay the same. Okay, cool. So never change your clothes. Keep the same ones on every day. Is that gonna make sense to you? No, because then that's dirty. Okay. Never wash your body. Just stay the same every single day. No, that's gonna. Okay, we start do the same things every day and expect a different result. Is that no? That's insanity. Okay, so why do you believe that you should stay the same and never change? Why are you applauding somebody because they stayed the same and never changed? Rigidity. We're having this problem in our country right now. We're seeing this problem in the world. Oh, you don't want to change. So now you're trying to force people to fit inside of your box and you want to go backwards to some outdated vision of whatever you thought it was because you're incapable of changing. So you know what they want to do? I don't want to change. So they want to take their ball and go home. They want to eliminate the game altogether. And yet you're saying that, okay, so I'm prepared for growth so I can adapt to this. We're going to be flexible. We're going to adapt and overcome. So we're going to switch it up then. They're changing the music. We're going to do a different dance. And one of my favorite proverbs for this is a Japanese proverb, and it says, vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. Vision without action is a daydream. And yet action without vision is a nightmare. Have you ever thought that this whole time you have been receiving the plan, but you ain't acted on it? So you sit there and you daydream and you see it clear as day. You visualized it. And you say, that was a good dream I had. It was. It was a good dream. And had you acted on it, enacted it, maybe you would see how dreams come true. So your dream has not come true because you had a vision with no action. Yet then you get excited and you start acting without a vision. Somebody told you that this is a lucrative business. You're looking over here and you say, man, I see people making money off of this thing all the time and it seems easy. But you had a vision. You had a daydream. And you said, I want to do this. And people laughed at you and you say, yeah, that's stupid. Then they actually gave you a stupid idea because this stupid idea was their idea. It's not your idea. So that's why I call it a stupid idea. You shut down the vision that came to you that was for you. Then you accepted someone else's idea and you said, yes, that's what I must do. And so you started acting on that without a vision. And now you're living in a nightmare. You hate your job, your environment, work, spouse, whatever, because you acting without the vision. You have that vision and then you act on it. The issue is that vision is so far-fetched. It makes no sense to anybody because it was yours. It's you who have to develop the plans for that and make it plain so that somebody else can go run with it, can enact it, can take that and assist you. But we're at the point where we ain't dreaming in the day or the night. So traumatized, so stressed out. We don't have dreams. We wake up in the nightmare and we don't want to go to sleep. You have no clue how many of my clients actually are suffering because they're not going to sleep. Because they don't want to go to sleep. They can't go to sleep. What are you going to go to sleep for? They're afraid of that. So we stay up all times of the night and we're tired and we wake up early in the morning. We go to a job we don't really want to go to. We come home. We're doing 1,000 different things except for rest, relax, and rejuvenate. And then they get over here and they're like, so tell me, like, I listen to what you say and I want to live inspired every day. Tell me what I'm going to do. And I say, rest, relax, and rejuvenate. And they say, what? No, I got all these things that I need to do and all these. Rest, relax, and rejuvenate. But then I won't be able to do this. Rest, relax, and rejuvenate. And as they start to do less and less and less, and they look around and they say, I've been doing less, yet I'm receiving more. What's going on? I'm doing less stressing about everything, and I'm receiving more understanding. I'm doing less running around, and I seem to be more rested. I'm doing less, and I'm preparing more. Now, all of a sudden, I just had a vision. I dreamed last night for the first time in years. We've gotten so far outside of ourselves that we just got lost in the sauce, for real. We're so stuck in society that we forgot where we came from. You forgot who you are. You got to make room. You forgot that you got to make room. And in order to make room, we have to let some things go. We got to slow down. We got to stop. You got to rest, relax, and rejuvenate. For one of the hardest things that I had to learn was that subtraction comes before addition. And that in order to grow, I'm going to have to subtract before I add. Before I was just adding. And anytime we do that, we're just going to keep compounding. It doesn't matter where it is. You add more thoughts, you're going to add more stress. You add more responsibility to your already packed schedule and packed life. You're going to add more strife, more frustration. You're going to have less time to do anything. We have to create room for us. And only you determine that room. How much you need is determined by you. Yet a lot of times we have to subtract first before we start adding on. And that's the hardest part. I got to give something up. All of this stuff, it was like at first you ain't need it. You didn't need it. You ain't touched it in years. It's just been sitting there collecting dust. Then the moment somebody comes and starts take away, wait, no, I need that. Oh, no, I need that too. I don't want to give that away. All of a sudden you start finding reasons to hold on to stuff that you don't need. And we wonder why we have no room to add something new. So we have to let go of outdated habits that we picked up along the way that may have suited us before, but they're in conflict now. You have to let go of those limiting beliefs that just keep you down and say, this is where you belong. You can't never go up there. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Why me? I don't have this certification or this degree, or I'm not this person. I don't have this money. Like, all that is limiting. We're talking about growth and expansion. So we can't have limited beliefs. We can't have outdated habits that we've just been doing for years. Should have been stopped doing that. And we can't have these cluttered schedules where it gives you no room to do nothing else. And you just got stuck in that. You just got stuck in that you got to have 5 meetings a day. So you ain't got no room to go over here and do something else. So when we prescribe like, hey, you're going to need to go do that. Well, I don't got no time to do that because I got to do all these other things. Why are you doing all those other things? And one thing that's coming to mind that's personal to me is why are we, not even why, it's not even a question. It's how we're having kids and we ain't got no space for them. How we're asking for relationships, a spouse, and you don't have the space for that spouse. So what is it that we're asking for? Because when it's given to us, we can't handle it. Relationship over that fast. You recognize that you don't have space or create space to listen to a person. We have children and it's like, I don't have time for y'all. This is something I had to personally learn myself. So I was stuck in the rat race. I was working and doing all these things. I was overseas fighting for my country. And I would say, did this for my children. My children didn't ask me to do that. They just wanted to have fun with daddy. So what am I really saying? What was I really doing it for? Because if I have children, the idea that I can't make it because I gotta work is what made me quit my job. Because I just don't, this is just me personally. I'm not chastising anybody else who's doing it or anything. This is just a personal reflection. I personally don't think it makes sense for me to look my child in the face and say that I am working to provide a better life for you. And this is why I can't show up for you. You want me at your games. You want me there to teach you this and help you. And even when I get off work, you want to play, but I'm so tired and I'm tired and I don't have the space and I don't have the time. Well, then if that child could be honest, if we gave space for our children to be honest, they would tell you the truth. That's bullshit. Why don't you quit your job then? And then we say, quit my job, then you wouldn't have all your toys in there. And they don't care about them toys. You care about them toys. Maybe that's what we need to admit, that it's me that cares about all of that. I want to give you that because I didn't have it. Yet to really give you something that I didn't have, I have to prepare for that. Was I prepared to give you that life? Or did I just make that as an excuse and a reason for why I'm not there when I should be? I can't make that excuse anymore. I got to find a way to prepare to be there for my children. So I ain't going to be working like this. I'm going to have to do it a different way. So that's what, for me, all of this is in preparation for that. And I've missed out on time because of that. Yet now I recognize what I'm actually preparing for so that they won't do that to their children. So they can see me as an example and say, well, this is what my dad prepared for. So I'm preparing them not to give their children the excuse that I gave them. Because that's what it was. So I have to be prepared to break the cycle. I may not even enjoy all the fruits of the labor that they will enjoy. That's fine. Because what I'm preparing for is to break the cycle. I'm not preparing for it to continue. That shit stops with me. It's done. No. Adios, amigo. Yet in order to do that, I had to ask, am I too full of what was to make room for what is to be? Am I too attached to what is going on right now to make room for what is supposed to come? And I wasn't strong enough to make that decision. So that decision was made for me. Yet, when it was made, I had enough understanding to see and to recognize what was happening, and that it was time for me to now take that responsibility to grow and expand. And I think we have this time right now where we are being given this opportunity. As long as we can see that and not focus on the distractions, laws are changing, things are happening. Yet in between that is the opportunity that we have to grow and expand. You can take back this ownership over your life, take back the power, your sovereignty to make your own decisions. But you have to make that room. You got to be willing to let go. Again, outdated beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the outdated habits that we've had, or the outdated habits. All of these things must go. Everything must go as a fire sale, because we have to be willing. No, we want to. We want to grow. This is how we are going to grow. You got to get rid of some of that clutter that you got sitting around. And I know you think that it's sentimental and it's worth this, yet you have to ask yourself again, am I too full of what was to make room for what will be? Do I care so much about this thing from the past or whatever it is that I don't want to make room for something new to come in that could possibly be greater than this? This is what we have to decide personally. And no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine doth burst the bottles. Matthew 9:17. No man putteth new wine in old bottles, else the new wine doth burst the bottles. If you want to grow, that's going to require a new structure as well. Out with the old, in with the new. Out with the old life, in with the new life, where we are living inspired every day forever. It's going to take some changes. And instead of that being scary, we can see how that is actually very, very enticing. That is actually something I can look forward to. Think about it. You're going to get new furniture, about to get a new car, a new house, a new lease on life. When you think of it like that, it's not as scary. When you think of it as, I got to get rid of this thing then it's scary because you're seeing something being taken away instead of seeing something being renewed, restored, replenished. If they say, I'm going to take your old couch away from you, you're like, no, not my old couch. But if I say, I'm going to give you a brand new couch, you're like, what? You can take this old one and throw it out. Don't necessarily see something being taken from you. This growth, this expansion is you receiving. You asked for it. Now make the room so it can come in. And when it comes in, you'll actually be able to hold on to it. Because your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. That's my boy Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love. We all out here looking for love, high and low and around and under, and we wonder why we can't find it. Because you have barriers that are blocking it. So you're not seeking anything. You're looking to remove those things that are in the way. And this is what we have said. I think it was last week we talked about this. I realized that I thought I was making something new, and I'm like, oh yeah, this brand that I got, these slogans, all these catchphrases, like this business model, it's new, and I'm gonna be no. It's like what this is just removing all the barriers that you had, so that you can see that you have always been living inspired. Now we want to be intentional. So we have been living inspired. Now we want to be intentional to make that life. We got to add that every day, because that every day becomes forever. And so it's not that we're putting something into you, we're pulling it out, helping you realize what you were not able to see before. But it's always been there. It's always been in you and not on you. You got to make room though. As soon as you start making room, these things start coming in. It's like, whoa, where these came from? Man, they was being held up. They was in storage waiting for you to make room. Now that you made room, we can send them. We couldn't send them before because there was no place for them to go. So they was backlogged. And you didn't know that because you didn't tap in. The moment you tapped in, it told you what you needed to do. There's that vision that you need to act. So it's not just a daydream, because we're not acting without vision, living that nightmare. We've been there, done that. Now we're tapping in, getting the vision, acting on it, and then seeing where it's like, man, if I would have known this 20 years ago, that's what we're really saying. If I knew then what I knew now, that I just needed to make the room, I would have been making room. I've been kicking everything. I've just been throwing stuff away just because. Nope, ain't nothing in here no more. Then I look up and say, you can sit it all now. I'm ready for it. It's on us. For in the Gospel of Thomas saying 70, in the Gospel of Thomas saying 70, it says, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. What you talking about, Willis? What's within me is gonna save me. So I'm looking outside at everything else, thinking that's gonna save, and it's been within me the whole time. If you only knew, what would you do? In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go. In the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go. Three things we struggle with. Love, because we say we don't want to give love because I've been hurt by love. So you think that that's something that you're doing something to somebody else when really you're doing it to yourself. Remove that. Whoever hurt you, whatever they did to you, give it to them. Go drop it off at their door. Here, this is yours. Now walk away. Leave that with them. This is forgive, but you ain't got to forget it. But you don't ponder on it every single day and dwell on it. No. Get that back to them. So now you can actually begin to give that love that you need to give to yourself. You ain't doing nothing to nobody by saying, I ain't giving no love to nobody because they hurt me. No, you hurting yourself. Don't believe me. Just look in the mirror. How gently you lived means, to me, you don't need to go out and impose your will on somebody else. Will you impose it in your own life? So doing those to myself, imposing that will on myself to change, has made me see how hard I was on myself, which made me ease up on myself and start to be more gentle on myself. Or that don't mean you soft. That don't mean we just gonna let somebody come over here and do whatever. No. That means I've learned how to give myself grace and space. Kudos, shout out to Grace. I learned to give myself that. This is how gently we are living. Because at first we're so rigid and we're so tough and we hard on ourselves and we're going to beat ourselves up if we don't get it right. This adds to less of the love that you getting because you was hurt. So now you're hurting yourself. And we think that we get a badge of honor for that. No, you don't. And how gracefully you let go. Oh, that's one thing that we stand on. I ain't letting go of nothing. No, I ain't letting go. I'm gonna hold on to this until the day that I die. Breaking news. How much more peace would you have in your life if you were able to gracefully let go of those things you've been holding on to? And if you're able to gracefully let go of those things that you've been holding on to, and that brings you peace, how would your health be? Would you be living a healthier life? or less healthier life? I think you'd be living a healthier life. I think you would live, love, and laugh. For they say in the end, only three things matter: how much you love, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go. I say three things that we must do in order to accomplish those things is you have to live, you have to love, and you have to laugh. The more you laugh, the more you love. The more you love, the more you live. The more you live, the more inspired every day. The more you are inspired every day forever. What must I release in order to grow into what I desire? I want you to reflect on that. What must I release in order to grow into what I desire? And allow that response to come to you. I can't give that to you, though I can prompt you to reflect on it. And I hope you write that down, put it in your note-taking app. If you got a pen or a piece of paper, put it right there on your pen and piece of paper. What must I release in order to grow into what I desire? And when you get the message, because you asked and you will receive. Now, remember, I'm a Libra scale, so we can be indecisive when we're not rooted in something. And everybody else has their scales. Make sure you are rooted. So when you get that answer, Brent, you don't go, nah, that ain't it. Okay. Discernment. You want the ability to discern between what is for you and what is not. So, come to the end, we close it out. But first, I want to give you some steps, some tools, right? So we don't just talk. We have to provide tools that we can act upon so we can see these results, because we want to put this preparation into practice. So remember, preparation is not just a mindset, it's a movement. It's not just a mindset, it's a movement. We got to do something too. So step one, write out that vision and clarify your goals. So write out that vision and make it plain. What are you preparing for? Step two, create space. Get it out, move it, move the clutter. It's spring cleaning. It's time. Move that stuff out the way. Clear your mental space, your emotional space, and your physical space. And if you want tips on how to do that, reach out. We got you. In fact, we got a whole newsletter that comes with ways that you can do this every single month. We're always on our Instagram at Mr. Inspire _1295, giving out these type of tips and tricks for you on the daily of how to clear your mental space, your emotional space, and your physical space so that the clutter is removed and you create that space for that new. What's that new for you? It might be a house. It might be a car. I feel like Bob Barker, a brand new car, whatever. The price is right. Step three, just like a recruit, you got to commit. Commit to the process. You got to commit. Daily actions. We talk about living inspired every day. We talk about never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. You have to put that daily action in, because that is what's going to breed that readiness. You got to commit. It's going to be hard. Yeah, I know you don't want to get up. I get it. Yeah. early in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Well, you can become one. And the reason why is because we often do the things that's easier. It's like, well, I'm not a morning person, so I'm gonna go at nighttime because I was already woke and doing it right. That's easy to do. We are redefining. So wake your butt up and get up and go do what you need to do. And if you're a person who, well, I'm not up late, then reverse that. Stay up a little bit longer and put in the work that you need to put in. You know where you at. You just have to commit. So you want to clarify your goals. What are you preparing for? You want to create space mentally, physically, emotionally. And you want to commit to the process. Daily effort. Something every single day that you're going to do. Start small. Maybe it's every day that I'm going to wake up, I'm going to drink a glass of water within the first hour that I'm awoke. Seems easier said than done. Trust me. It's little changes that create some of the biggest windfalls. We don't have to make a huge, gigantic change. It was one small step for man, they say. They created one giant leap for mankind. And Proverbs 12:24 says, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Oh my goodness. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. Discipline today prepares you to lead tomorrow, or make the excuse for why you're receiving the abuse. For faith without works is dead. James 2:26. And Lao Tzu says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So what are we waiting for? The time is now.